Okay. Go-home show before No Surrender. A better show than they delivered for the last 2 weeks. Kind of a problematic show, but no Orlando Jordan this time, thank God, so there wasn't anything that was going to make me want to run for the bathroom. Hey, is it just me, or does this Tales of the Black Freighter stuff seem really superfluous? Why must you constantly interrupt me? Do you have to read that here? Wouldn't you rather read it in a quiet room, somewhere far, far away? No, I'm quite comfortable here. Why are you even doing this? You're reading Watchmen while I'm trying to record the video? Didn't you have a lot of big plans? I thought you wanted to, like, take over the IWC or something. It's on my to-do list, but I got a lot of stuff on my plate right now. I mean, hello, that giant stack of Victoria's Secrets in my room isn't going to read itself. Wait, you're reading my Victoria's Secrets now? Trying to. It'd be a lot easier if all the pages weren't stuck together. I have no idea how something like that would happen. Yeah, I'll bet you don't. So, hey, Impact! Anyway, Impact had some pretty good hype for Bound for Glory, some pretty good hype for No Surrender this Sunday, and they really needed some good hype, seeing as how someone in management made the really unwise decision to book this thing on Labor Day weekend. Probably my favorite part of the show was the segment with Motor City Machine Guns and London Brawling, this new tag team that they came up with. I know some people are not happy about this new team, and I wasn't thrilled about it myself at first. Yes, Desmond Wolfe should be getting a singles push, but guess what? That's not happening right now. I mean, at least this way, he's gotten back on the show, he's got a title match at the pay-per-view, and that's a lot better than what he was doing before. And I don't know if you've seen him on Explosion yet, but this tag team is not the worst thing ever. I mean, Brutus Magnus is still green, yes, but he has gotten better in the ring, plus he's charismatic and he's great on the mic. And him and Desmond Wolfe play off each other really well, actually. I mean, they've cut some very entertaining promos. They got over easily on Impact this week. They had a really fun segment with the Machine Guns. I don't think they should be winning the tag titles yet, but I think London Brawling as a tag team is a solid investment. The only issue I had with this was that they've been built up entirely on Explosion. If you're not in an international market where that show airs, if you're not watching Explosion online, then you probably have no idea where this team came from. The result being that this title match at the pay-per-view kind of feels like it's coming out of nowhere. And with Bound for Glory next month, that's really not a good thing. Nevertheless, I do think these teams can have a really entertaining feud. Also good, it looks like EV 2.0 is being scaled back. Most of the guys they brought in for this thing are gone now. Sandman no-showed the TV tapings, so he's gone. Thank you. So they put Brian Kendrick in there to pick up the slack. That's a big step up from the Sandman, but Kendrick just feels like the wrong guy for that spot. I mean, if TNA wanted a young guy to fill a spot in a faction that calls itself Extreme, they need a guy who can wrestle Extreme. Someone like Amazing Red or Generation Me would have been a much better choice. I mean, those guys can go extreme. Brian Kendrick doesn't really wrestle like that. He used to, but not anymore. So that was kind of a head-scratcher, but Sandman is gone, and that's definitely a good thing. EV 2.0, they had a decent match with Fortune here. It would have been better without all the overbooking, but they just had to incorporate every single individual feud with the Fortune guys into this one match. Sabu gets eliminated, starts brawling with Doug Williams, Abyss shows up, Rhino gets counted out. There was just way too much stuff going on here. In other words, your typical match booked by Vince Russo. Still a decent match, but really, I think this faction is on its last legs. They're not drawing ratings like they were at first. The crowd isn't reacting to them that much anymore. They weren't really into this match that much at all. And I just don't see anywhere for this feud to go. I think the writers want to finish it at Bound for Glory. I don't think it's got enough momentum to get there. And if EV 2.0 go over at any point, you're just going to make some of the best young talents in TNA look bad. You had Abyss, who's the biggest heel you've got right now, jobbed as Stevie Richards in 2.5 minutes. I'm sorry, TNA. I just don't understand. That really damages Abyss's credibility, and it does nothing for Stevie Richards. Sure, he pinned Abyss, but next week he's still going to be Stevie Richards. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to be main eventing in the future. He's going to stay right where he is. So the only thing this really accomplished was dragging Abyss down. And the same thing could happen to AJ Styles and Doug Williams this Sunday. There was yet more boring crap with the beautiful people. The biker chick was finally revealed to be Tara. Surprise! Not really. I think everyone figured out it was Tara weeks, if not months ago. I have no idea why they dragged this thing out so long. There was never any reason to conceal her identity in the first place. Also, really not sure how Tara can just magically come back after she lost a match just a few months ago where the stipulation was if you lose you must retire from wrestling. I mean, they tried to rationalize it on the reaction show. They did an okay job of it, but the reasoning still felt kind of flimsy to me. This business of putting Samoa Joe in this Sting, Nash, Jarrett storyline, I have a problem with this. First of all, the storyline is interminable. It seems designed just for the sole purpose of giving Sting, Nash, and Jarrett a reason to be on television. I don't like it. Samoa Joe should not be wasting his time with this. Second of all, to have Joe come out to help Jarrett completely runs contrary to the way he was written last week. You can't have him say he's on no one's side but his own and then have him be on Jarrett's side 1 week later. Maybe that would have been more gradual if Joe hadn't been suspended for a month, but as it is, it just happened way too fast. Again, I don't like this, but it's like Desmond Wolfe working in a tag team. This is something to do with him since he's not getting a main event push right now. Unlike Desmond's tag team with Magnus, I really don't see an upside here, but at least it's Joe getting TV time again. Now, as for this 10-10-10 thing, I'll give them credit. They've done a good job of building this up, and it does give them an interesting hook to sell Bound for Glory with. But they've been hyping this they angle for so long now that unless it's something really, really earth-shattering, it's just going to feel like a huge anticlimax. I mean, if this has all been building up to something stupid like Hogan and Bischoff turning heel, you're going to have a whole lot of fans wondering why you wasted so many months on this thing. So I am interested in it, but I have some serious concerns. And the world title situation is kind of the same thing. The writers should have just stuck with the Kurt Angle works his way through the top 10 storyline, because this whole tournament was just set up and executed way too fast. They've done a pretty decent job of hyping these two semifinal matches at the pay-per-view and building up the animosity between the final four guys, considering they only had a few weeks to do it, but it still feels like they're trying to take lemons and make lemonade here. The whole thing reeks of, we had to change our plans at the last minute for some reason, go off in a completely new direction, and now we're having to rush through the whole thing to set up our Bound for Glory main event. My feelings on this haven't changed. I still think Kurt Angle versus Abyss would have been a much better option, but I guess Abyss is going to be involved in the they angle somehow, and who knows how that's going to affect things. So No Surrender looks better than Hardcore Justice did. I'll give him that much. I mean, I can pretty much guarantee this will be a better pay-per-view. Not every match on the card is a winner, but there should be some good stuff too. Not enough for me to order it though. I'll be streaming it or downloading it. After you fix those Victoria's Secrets, of course. Yeah. After that.